Mirana.
Hello everybody, this is Purge, bringing you guys a coaching replay session. Hope you guys enjoyed the video yesterday. It was Elder Titan again. If you guys want to vote for the next heroes for me to play in my games, click the link in the drop down box below. It goes to my website, purgegamers.true.io, and you can vote. Right now we've got Ember Spirit in the lead, we've got a Winter Wyvern, we've got an Invoker, and a Rubik. So those are probably the heroes that I'll play in a couple days. Today is Thanksgiving, which is why I'm wearing clothes, because I'm going to go to a family Thanksgiving with my girlfriend later. And I was like, you know what? Might as well just use my suits once in a while on stream, right guys? So with that said, we're going to be doing a coaching replay session, and this is for the player. Let me read that entry. This is also submitted on my website, by the way. You guys can go here to submit your games. I usually only check them when I actually make a video, so most of the time that you guys submit, you're probably not going to catch me. But and keep in mind that your replays do expire every week, so don't just continue spamming the same replay. Basically do it once in a while. If you guys get a good game that you feel like is worth me looking over, then you can submit it there. Okay, so it is a Slark. It is a 2.9k MMR ranked game. It's a game on the C server, so we're going to see some good all chat for sure. He wrote, this is written by Borgata Freeze. Played a game as Slark on the C server. I feel like I didn't contribute much to the win. I just got lucky several times. My laning phase was horrible and I couldn't find farm. I was pretty much solo against a lion and a witch doctor and got zoned out. Need tips in laning. Okay, so I haven't watched this replay yet. I don't know how it's going to go, but from the things that he initially wrote, it's very likely that he does have an awful lane and there's nothing you can do about it. Now, I've gotten a little bit more practice with this recently because when I play unranked game, for example, with a bunch of friends that are much lower MMR than me, I get into a situation where I'm in an awful lane, I don't have very good options, and I'm pressured a lot, and the solution is basically you just accept that you're not going to get as much farm as your opponents are. And, oh, did I change my overlay? Okay, there we go. You're just going to accept that you're not going to get as much farm as your opponents, and your end goal is basically, well, that's too bad, suck it up and do your best. And eventually you'll be able to get kills on people, and you can use those kills to eventually accelerate. Now, if you're at 2.9k MMR, it doesn't matter if you get few last hits in the first 10 minutes or so, because what you can eventually do is get kills and eventually catch up. At higher levels, things like last hitting in the first 10 minutes becomes a lot more important, but in reality, all you really need is levels. If you're getting levels and you're not dying repeatedly to your opponents, then you're in a decent place. So this is a guy that submitted it. First major issue is he has 175 gold that he hasn't spent yet. He does have 2 sets of tangos and he has a stout shield, which is relatively good, but to be honest, you should spend all your money on regen if you're going to do that. If you're going to be in a lane, pretty much always you should be doing that. So double tango with the salve, I think that's pretty reasonable. He could go for something like that and be pretty happy. Looks like he's going to get a bounty rune bottom. He's going to run back to the safe lane, and we're going to pull up the CS. That way we can see how well he does in CSing. So looks like there's a witch doctor down here. Looks like he was also fighting Sand King for CS. They could definitely go for this kill, by the way, especially if you got an Orb of Venom. Oh, he'd actually buy an Orb of Venom. Okay, he could easily get this kill. I think they should have gone on Witch Doctor. That's their first mistake. Kill opportunity missed. You've got a Sand King, who has the stun, and you have a Slark who has Pounce and an Orb of Venom. Like, yeah, I guess you could double cast Bounce, but basically what the Sand King should do right now is walk around, look for a Burrow Strike, or Slark can just land a range pounce. At 3k MMR, these players aren't very good. They're not very reactive. You can land that. And hitting him with the Orb of Venom afterwards, it could lead to a kill. He's got 0 armor. It's possible. Instead, what the Sand King does is he leaves the lane. Possibly to go stack, but he was late. He will stack the Mud Golem camp, but in reality what the Sand King should do is show up in lane, go to large camp, stack the large camp. Do this like 4 times. Hopefully by then you're level 3, and then you get farm. So this is why you save the money, basically, so you can get the fast Orb of Venom. But I'm not a huge fan of this because, to be honest, what's more important is guaranteeing your lane. Like, you can get the Orb of Venom by getting an extra 2 or 3 last hits. 2 last hits, basically, to replace what you missed from the bounty rune. So I think he kind of lost a lot by not going for this. I also feel like he maybe should get Dark Pact at level 2, because if you're against a Witch Doctor in a line, they have pretty heavy stuns. So being able to dispel those would be really important. Essence Shift is really only good if you're trading with your opponents a lot and trading hits with them or trying to go for kills. So I feel like he's a bit wasted here. Decent play from the Sand King to avoid that. They waste some mana. They can immediately look and say Witch Doctor has 79 mana, Lion has 79 mana. And what should happen basically is they should immediately start going for kills now. And that's something that they haven't been doing in this lane. Like, Witch Doctor literally has enough with the Clarity Potion for one spell. They wasted their mana. They have no armor. They have good right clicks, but that's pretty much it. I feel like they're definitely capable of taking a fight. So what should happen is, as a Slark, or as anybody in a lane, you should look at these heroes and you should realize these kinds of weaknesses. Now things get scary again, because Witch Doctor is able to regen up his mana more. And I personally don't do this enough either. I don't check my opponent's HP and mana and things like that. I almost never check it. I usually check like hero levels and that's about it. But it's an important piece of information. If the Witch Doctor only has 80 mana, you guys can go fight him, jump on him and try to go for a kill. Force some trades. If you have way more regen than they have, for example, same thing goes. These guys only have 1 tango each. You've got 2 sets of tangos, you should have had a salve on top of this, and you've got a Sand King with that had 1 set of tangos. You guys together could trade hits, putting them low mana, and that might put you in a point where you can get kills. Or put him to a point where his HP is only at like 60%. Or maybe you scare him enough where he puts a skill point into Voodoo Restoration instead of a second in Maledict, and then he doesn't feel comfortable in last hitting against you anymore. You're also missing quite a few last hits, which is obviously very relevant. You have been pressured here, but it hasn't been so bad that it's impossible to lane. Last hit under tower is obviously really difficult, and it really sucks that Slark's armor is 1. Makes it very tough in here. Dark Pact here is a mistake, I believe. But basically, if you sit around and you let your opponents initiate on you, things like this is going to happen simply. Like, ultimately, your opponents will use their mana on you, but it's in result of you getting initiated on. So in reality, you don't actually accomplish that much. I like how you're still sitting around getting experience though, because if you're in a shitty lane like this, the most important thing is that you get boots and level 6, and then you can use that level 6 to get a kill. That's the easiest way to catch up. The amount of gold that you get when you kill a hero is based on how much their net worth is, and it's cross-reference to how much their net worth is a percentage of the total net worth of their opponents, and it's also based on I believe your levels, and maybe in relation to your player's levels. So if you're really far behind, it's really good to go for kills. And getting a Poor Man's Shield is certainly not the way to do this. A Stout Shield by itself is obviously not the best damage block, especially now that it's been slightly nerfed, aka made less expensive. But the important part is that if you go in on this Poor Man's Shield, then you're sitting around here and you still have no movement speed. Movement speed is too important to pass up in most cases. Yeah, you're getting double harassed and stuff like that, but the more I buy like Poor Man's Shields at like the 3 to 4 minute mark when I don't have boots, the more I kind of regret it, because then you get into a situation where you have all these extra small items. Like he's going to get a Ring of Basilius, he's going to have an Orb of Venom, he's going to have a Poor Man's Shield, and he still doesn't have boots yet, for example. Like you can't really do that. This is a nice initiation by them. They slightly stack their suns, and Slark's going to be absolutely fine here. I would actually hang around. Oh wow, he actually almost died there. I would hang around, try to get level 6, and then once he hits level 6, then he's going to be completely fine. A little bit of a mistake for them to come to the lane, I think. Alright, so now he's got his other items. Sapping 6, Sapping 6. Use the leap again. I mean, so far this isn't awful. He should have like an extra 6 last hits or something like that, but I feel like one of the best heroes to be aggressively dueling against is PA, because you can throw daggers and continuously get farmed despite being behind. Okay, that was a... oh, he's gonna die to creep block now, I think. Also, if he had boots here, he would 100% live. It looks like he's gonna live anyways, but that was really dangerous. He's still almost 6, just needs a small piece of experience. This is really dangerous by him. But now that he hits 6, now he's gonna be fine. So yeah, as Slark, really you just hit 6 and then you're happy again, right? If you had boots here, you would have landed a pounce on somebody, guaranteed. Yeah, that wasn't worth it. He's gonna die now, 100%. That was a bad play. So, we go back to your items, basically. You're at a point now where you have a Poor Man's Shield and you have a Ring of Protection. That's 500 gold right there to finish the Poor Man's. So now you're trying to catch up. You could be like right here right now, and you could pounce either the line, or you could land the pounce on the Witch Doctor. Instead you go for something overly aggressive. What it might have even been better to do is use your ultimate, run into range, and then start hitting. And you're still not buying your Boots of Speed. Boots are way too important. Most carries cannot justify buying all these extra items. Like, in TPing top, what does this accomplish? This is like, and now you've wasted your ultimate, like, ugh, you're just like extremely tilted right now, and now you don't have a survivability button for a minute. Yeah, there's maybe too many heroes down there, but you could have gone mid instead. All you need to do is guarantee that you get boots. And I know that at a stage like this, the games look really hard and they look impossible. You're like, oh god, I don't have boots yet. I'm underfarmed. I have very few last hits. They're last hitting better than me. I can't solo kill anybody. Well, you know what the solution is? You get an ally and then you gang up on somebody. That's what you should be doing. Or if there's nobody that you can do that for, I would just go mid and last hit. Go mid, get more levels, get more last hits, get your boots, finish your Aquila, maybe get your gloves of haste, gloves of speed, whatever the heck it's called, gloves of haste. That way you can get your attack speed up, which is going to make you do a lot more damage with Essence Shift, for example. All of that is very good. Now, what's happening down here basically is your team is being a bunch of idiots. They're basically saying, oh, we're getting pressured like crazy in the safe lane, so what we should do is just rotate heroes down and throw arrows until a fight happens. But this isn't very good to do because if your opponents have wards or if they're not idiots, then they will see it coming and they'll avoid it. And then you've got your mid hero and 2 other heroes just sitting in your lane. Sand King, if anything, has been the most efficient player on his team this game. Maybe he didn't stack perfectly, but this is what he should be doing. If two teams basically like all show up in the same lane and there's like 4 heroes on each side of the river and they're just staring at each other, both teams are playing awfully. I wanted to say something more severe, but they're playing awfully. It is like completely ridiculous to do that. And the reason is because if anyone dies, they're extra awful. Like if somebody gets arrowed and it leads into a kill, then this team messed up really bad because you know these guys are here. All you have to do is make sure that you have enough counter push to make sure that they don't just push this tower in, and then all of these guys waste their time. They'll split the farm 3 ways. Instead, what they could do is they could put a person mid. They could, better yet, put a Templar Assassin jungling a stack right here with the Mirana catching up in terms of levels in the mid lane. And Silencer could make sure that he doesn't die to these 3 heroes. And then all of a sudden, the Radiant team is severely winning the game in terms of farm in the early game. So yeah, it's partially on this guy's team for showing up to the lane and like trying to start fights that were kind of unrealistic. But there's no reason for Slark to have a death right now. There's no reason for him not to have boots. And if anything, he should have an assist or a kill. And he should have boots of speed. And by getting that kill, he could have finished his Poor Man's Shield. Or finished his Wraith Band. And a lot of things. So right now, it's not looking very good. The problem is that you got panicked as Slark. And that led you to do stupid things. And you have to learn to not get panicked for things as simple as this. It's basically as you develop playing more and more Dota, you will get less stressed out about stupid things. And stupid things will be like, wow, why are they playing so stupid? You'll do the right thing, and you'll get kills. When I play against somebody that's like 500 MMR higher than me, I do stupid things because I'm like, I've never had this situation before. This guy's completely outplaying me, and then I do stupid things. Whereas when a 7k player plays against a 6k player, they make the 6k player look like a little baby. And they're like, wow, you don't know how to do anything, do you? And then they kill the 6k player. That's basically what happens. And what you have to do is you have to get used to these situations and you have to not make the same mistakes. You have to basically say like, well, that was a very clear lead. He should be able to get ulti off. Okay, you can't do both at the same time. If he gets ulti, he dies here. He's very dead now. So you made 2 mistakes there that were pretty huge. You honestly look very inexperienced as Slark. Spamming your ultimate is the first solution, because the only thing that can hit you from these 2 heroes is the Slither and Crush, which already came out. Or he could cast Shrapnel on the ground where you're standing. That would also hit you. Okay? So as soon as if you're stunned like that, your solution was instantly press Shadow Dance. You start regenning, you give movement speed, they can't attack you. Problem solved. But to cast both at the same time is the wrong thing. You should use Shadow Dance. You should make sure that he's not going to cancel your pounce by you pouncing into him, and then you pounce away. And then you have to make sure, you probably should use Dark Pact during that period of time, assuming they don't have vision of you, so that he can't get the snipe off. Because then the only way they'll catch up to you at that point is if the Assassinate comes. So as soon as you wasted your pounce, you're pretty screwed. The only way that you are going to survive is if you tree juke. This was the right choice here, but you needed to make sure that you got out of vision and you needed to get away from them. So you made a lot of mistakes here. And this is your second death. The first death, okay, maybe that one happened, but the second death didn't need to happen. And now you're basically going back to the passive farming thing. And this is where you should have been this whole time. Could have been farming mid, could have been maybe coming back bottom and farming there. I also could easily justify pushing out the lanes if you're losing. Pushing a lane is a really safe way to get farm while also not getting killed, because if you push the lane, he could basically use 1 Dark Pact and you instantly kill this creep wave, right? Or you at least kill 2 creeps and then you quickly last hit the other dude. By doing that, you take 150 damage, which is dealable with Dark Pact. That's not a big deal. And then you leave. You say, okay, push the lane, I got my creep wave, and then you start walking to the small camp, and then you farm the small camp. And then all of a sudden the creep wave's up here, And then Witch Doctor has to last hit it, so you know where Witch Doctor is. And then Lion's like, oh, I'm out of position. I'm on the other side of the creeps. If they find me, I just die. So then Lion might retreat as well. And all of a sudden you make all the space on the map while still getting farm. So if you're worried about getting ganked, pushing waves and then disappearing into a jungle or somewhere else on the map is a really good way to deal with those situations. So now the creep bully, that's creep wave pushes up. Alright, you should have been attacking this guy instantly. Huge mistakes already. I don't know if you saw or not. Let's look at your vision. Alright, you guys know that he's here right now. So this is what you do. The most Lion can do right now is stun you. And he's also got a Hex and he's got a lot of burst damage. So the first thing that you should do is when you get about here, you should start casting Dark Pact. Because it takes 1.5 seconds for it to go off. So if he throws a stun on you right now, it's about, by the time he basically reacts, then your Dark Pact's going to go off and it's going to remove the disables. And then you're going to pounce him. And then if your HP is anywhere around 450, then you use your ult. And the reason that that's the range is because level 1 Finger Death does 600 damage, which reduced goes down to 450. Because every 100 damage you do only does 75 damage against an average hero, so 75 times 6 gives you 150, 300, 450. 450 damage. So you turn, you see Lion, you say, okay, Witch Doctor's way over here, Lion's way over here, this is easy. You run at him, you cast Dark Pact, you start hitting him, he's got Orb of Venom slow. Once he realizes he's a little bit worried and you're in melee range, then you pounce him. And then if you get a little bit too low, if he throws like Earth Spike on you and Finger of Death or something, then you spam your ultimate. Boom. Problem solved. Assuming that you Dark Pact correctly, this line has nothing, or you have nothing to fear from this line. He's got a Tranquil Boots, he's got 400 HP, but you've got a Silencer here. This is a little bit of extra damage. So rather than doing all that stuff, what you did is you said, oh my god, I'm getting ganked, and you walked around for like 2 seconds. You could have been hitting him right here. You could have had him hit twice, and you could have forced the disable on you rather than Silencer getting hit. Obviously that missed, so stupid, but you used this Dark Pact so late, and you canceled your attack here. And yeah, you did some good damage here, and you got a pounce off, and this is looking okay. And now you got an ult, and you got a kill, and that's cool. But this could have probably been a double kill, really, because you could have instantly done 300 damage to the Lion. And then after another 6 seconds or so, then you use another Dark Pact, and you get damage on the Witch Doctor. You didn't need to use your Shadow Dance there, basically. If you go on the Lion and use Dark Pact correctly, and you just stop his disables from landing, then his damage is not that high. And forcing disables out on your hero, in this case, is much more important, because Silencer is the squishier hero. So there's like a lot of stuff that you can do in that team fight to make it better for you. We'll start that over, sorry. Some weird icons or animations just because of the reverse. The Hex Initiation, you pounce, you used your Dark Pact a little bit late. This guy will die for sure, and it looks like you're gonna die. You should definitely be running. You good? Okay, you're dead no matter what. So what did you do wrong in the second half? Use Dark Pact too late. You should always start Dark Pact because you want it to do damage as soon as possible so that it's off cooldown. You got the line, and then now you're at 200 HP, you don't even have boots, you need to retreat. You don't even have pounce. As soon as you walked this distance, you killed yourself. If these guys were better players, they would have just turned and fought you instantly. But you walked this distance, imagine if you walked this distance instead. By the time they turn, you're standing right here. And then the only way for them to get to you is co-op to blink. Witch Doctor won't be able to right-click you, you won't be able to stun. So you threw your life away because you didn't watch the course of the team fight and understand your limits as a hero.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Okay, fight is ultimately won by your team. But you've got 3 deaths now, and you shouldn't have. You go mid, use Dark Pact to farm. Slight mistake here, you should have been positioned where it hit all 4 creeps instead of just 3. You got boots now finally. You got your Ring of Aquila. I don't like the Ring of Aquila pickup before Treads. I feel like Treads is a better item to grab. I think grabbing a fast Ring of Basilius is something you can justify, but I don't much like the Wraith Band before you get the Treads. The attack speed is just way too important. And the reason the attack speed is important is because of Essence Shift, and technically a Treads is 9 in all stats, in a way. You can get 9 strength, or you can get 9 int, and it makes your mana go a lot farther, and it allows you to basically jungle. So, good kill here. You should be able to... I would use Dark Pact here. Used a little bit late. The Dark Pact should be exploding as soon as you get in melee range on him. Because again, you want to do your damage as instantly as possible. I would cast it now. Dark Pact now. Then as you land, it's already blown up. So, very small mistake, but that stuff really adds up. There's going to be times where you jump on a guy and you die before your dark pack goes off because you used it too late, for example. So you have to be more careful about it.
Is under attack.
Last hit's all good, hitting the tower a little bit. Yeah, that just wasn't safe. You should have realized that you weren't regenning. Like right now, you're not getting regen, that means that they have a ward. Another thing to look at is Slark. You should see your icon right here. And I was like, why is it not regenning? And then I looked on the map, oh, there's an observer ward right here. You can't see it because I'm on their perspective, but if I press that button, there you go. Observer ward is there. And that's why you're not regenning. You can't be at the slow HP and stick around. It just makes the kills too easy for your opponents. So now you're 0, 4, and 4. You have more last hits than a lot of people in the game because everybody in this game kind of sucks. But your last hitting should be a bit improved here.
Radiant's middle tower is
And on a Slark, I would probably justify the attack speed item over the strength item. I think that's probably better. This is probably going to be here the rest of the game, unfortunately. Again, pushing the wave, which is good. Your last hitting pretty good now, which is good. I've got a Queen of Pain to the lane, pounce on her, make her blink. I think that's good. I like that. Only costs you a little bit of mana, you're going to heal back up to full HP. Very little was lost. Forces her to get use bottle charges. As you're approaching this, you should have it. You basically should be casting Dark Pact here or here. Instead, you cast it here. You're limiting your damage output. You cast the new Dark Pact right now if you wanted to, for example. You got to plan ahead your movements a little bit better.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Alright, so now you have treads. I kind of like getting a magic stick at the very least. Because your mana pool is a little low. You don't have a huge int gain. You strength treaded, or you tread swapped a little bit wrong there. You're supposed to go to int, not agility. Now you're pushing the tower. Okay, that was good. Oh, you got him in the lead. You need to juke trees. Ooh, this is okay. So you slightly messed up here. You pounced him. That was pretty lucky, honestly. What you should be doing instead of running this way, you should run this way, because your salvation is rounding this corner here or rounding this corner. Instead, by walking straight down, since it's daytime, you gave him vision of you longer. You could be regenning. You basically let him see where you were. If you would have ran this way, as soon as you rounded this corner, which you would have had like half a second or so, you would have been regenning, which would have given you 5% of your HP per second, which would have given you like 1 second worth of that. And it looks like you're going to live here, but if you got an attack off on you, you would die. So if you would have done that same thing, you would have gotten a little bit more regen. So if you're running a Slark, you always aim to trees. Even if you know they're going to catch up to you, you get as many tree jukes in as possible, because every time you tree juke, it gives you a small amount of HP. And again, it looks like you're going to live, and Quap is going to die for it, which is great and all, but that could have been a little safer for you and had a slightly higher chance of success. Oh, this guy's the worst skill build I've ever seen. Oh, he actually got killed by it. If he actually had more levels of reflection, he would have lived. But the Maledict burned through it. Oh, you going for a kill here? Alright, that was a good lead. Alright, so now you've got 1,400 gold. You have the most last hits in the game somehow. I think you're pretty decent at static laning, better than most people at your MMR, but your early game last hitting is poor, and that's the thing you're going to need to work on the most. Again, tread switch. Go to int every time you're about to cast a spell. I like that you brought yourself a clarity potion. I think this is okay. But the problem is that you can't really farm for a bit. And you also grab the Shadow Amulet first. I'm not sure if I like buying this over the Claymore. I feel like the Claymore is a better pickup. You know what, on Slark, you're probably in the right here. I think this is fine. I also think you wasted a lot of your clarity. You didn't get very much out of that. The reason Shadow Amulet's kind of good on Slark is because if you're in a lot of trouble, you can Shadow Amulet yourself to hide. Assuming that they don't have the amplified damage. So for that reason, I kind of like this pickup. I think it's okay. Defensively, it's alright. Your farming patterns are alright. You're pushing lanes out decently. Got your Aqualon, you're hitting the tower. Canceling aggro. This is good. Again, you should be able to react to that. First of all, we'll see where you start seeing her. You can see her right now, by the way. She blinks. You should ulti right away. And then you should run. And you always have to have your finger on that. Like, as you start the game, you should look at the heroes and be like, huh, what do I have to be afraid of? Things you have to be afraid of are blink hexes from line and do stuns. You should also be afraid of Quap, blink ult stuns. And you should be afraid of blink stuns from Slardar. And the counters to these are all pretty simple. You press your ultimate. Or you press Dark Pact, basically. Either one of those... Well, Dark Pact doesn't protect you from Quap, but it protects you against the line and stuff like that. So you have to watch your map. But you didn't watch... And she ends up getting the kill. If she was smarter, what she would have done is TP to the lane, and she would have approached, she would have walked directly to here, and then she would have blinked in from here, or here, or here, to get on top of you. Because she blinked straight from the lane, you should have been able to see her. You did get your Shadow Blade though, which is good. We'll see if you do anything with it. Alright, you immediately get your Shadow Blade, you go to the top lane. It's a mistake to go for the hit, or the pounce that is. Because she has to be stunned or silenced for that to not be a threat. Again, you can tell your team where the wards are because your passive is not working. You go off to farm mid lane. I think this is okay here because you guys do have ward vision. You see that there's a lot of heroes top. Next up, what do you do? The fight top. So you're running back top. I think this is okay that you're rotating here. Oh, they have a word, I didn't even realize. This is their word.
I came a long way.
I think you ultied a little bit early here, but it's not a big deal. I like that you're fighting it, this is good. Okay, that was good. I think you did well that fight. I would have maybe leapt to dodge that tower hit. You also have to worry about Queen of Pain right now, which you're still not worrying about. You stayed way too long. Alright, well, you're going to be alive. Are you going to go for this? Alright, I like that. That was the worst global silence I've ever seen. Alright, I like that you went for that. I also like that you waited a long time to hit because every time that you stayed in biz that your ultimate was regenerating you, so that was good. Next you go to farm, which I think is fine. I would have kind of liked you to go top though, because yeah, you get farm and the creep wave. I guess you TP'd back, so maybe it's a lot of time to get back top, but I think it's worth it because with a Shadow Blade, you're basically Slark is essentially at his strongest like right now. When they don't have 4 staffs, they don't have gems, they don't have sentry wards, they don't have a huge amount of survivability, they just die to you. If you get to initiate on them, Slark will kill them. You will kill Lion, you will kill Wish Shark, you will kill Sniper. You've got 3 super easy kills, basically, because of the item build you went, and because of where Slark's strengths are. So rather than go to farm large camps, which don't necessarily provide you huge benefit, I would have preferred that you walk to the top lane, and you Shadow Blade looking around looking for kills even more. I think that's the better thing to do, and like, farming the jungle is good, but the place you should be farming the jungle is either here, or here, or even here, or even here, or even here. And the reason you can get away with this as Slark is because you know if your opponents can see you. You don't have to worry about them having defensive wards in positions like here. If you go to farm this camp and you're standing right here and you haven't attacked creeps and they can see you, you say like, oh, they have an observer ward here. Obviously, it's not safe for me to passively farm here. Instead, what you could do is farm this camp or this camp, and then you just wait for a hero to pop up. For a hero to be running this way, or a hero to be running this way, and then you know where they are, and you can get closer to them, and you can look for those kills. So this is like, by far, my biggest pet peeve in Dota right now, is what you just did. It's by far my biggest pet peeve. I hate playing with people that do this as cores, because yes, they're giving themselves farm, but they're not giving themselves an offensive opportunity to get a kill. And as a support, if I'm playing support, and all my cores just go to our jungle and they farm, it's hard for me to get kills because I'm a support. I need usually +1 or +2 to get kills on heroes. Like, yeah, Slark can get solo kills all he wants, and yeah, this guy's guaranteeing himself farm right now in a safe way, but he's not allowing his team to accelerate as much. He's only allowing himself to accelerate, and it's not accelerating that fast. Any player can go to a jungle and auto-attack creeps at a decent rate. If he farms up here instead, he helps the silencer who's in position to get a kill. He helps the TA that's in position to get a kill. And then this leads to a tower. And then Slark's already close to his opponents, and then he can just basically hang out and farm his jungle. And then if one of our supports is really underleveled, he can go to our jungle and farm where it's safe. A ganking core like Slark should not be farming passively ever, in my opinion. There's very few cases where it's good to do that. If you have a Shadow Blade, you're ready to party, man. You should go around and fight. and way too many cores sit on their side of the map the entire game and say, what's the big deal? I'm getting farm. I'm not doing anything wrong. The reality is that you need to make sure that you're out on the map getting kills, basically. And yeah, you can kill these creeps all fast and you're getting farm and that's great and all, but eventually you will find a kill, it looks like. Maybe. We'll see. It's on a Queen of Pain, she doesn't work it. So, oh, she blinked aggressively. Kill her, kill her, kill her. Super easy kill. As soon as she blinks aggressively, you hesitated too long. You still get it though. As soon as she blinks, you've got 5 or 6 seconds that you know that she's vulnerable, and then Slark is basically OP versus her. If she blinks aggressively, she dies. It's that simple. So, while you did farm a lot of this jungle, and eventually you got to a lane where there happened to be a hero, that was cool, I guess. But you could have also done this on the top lane. And looking at the map, I think it was unrealistic to anticipate that, and if this Quap was a better player, she wouldn't have used her blink to go from here to here. It was an absolutely awful blink. It accomplished very little, and it just put her in a place where she gets killed.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
And thanks. So you've kind of recovered, but the problem is that you're not feeling confident enough about your hero in the early game. It's pretty much that simple. I don't know if I would even hang out here. I think this is kind of dangerous. I feel like you're waiting to see if a support shows up and then you're planning to kill them. I don't know if you even saw this line though. I guess you could go for the Slark here. This is not bad. See, this is the issue, is that you kind of dark pacted a little too early here. Normally, if he wasn't silenced, I would say save the dark pact and you did it fine. He just had too much HP. But the issue is that you had to hold it until the global silence ends, and that was the time for you to go for it. They do have an observer ward. You should really not die here. It's a pretty big mistake by you. Should have realized, wow, they can see me, that's weird. Oh, they can see me, that's weird. Maybe I should use my ultimate. Better safe than sorry. Your ultimate is on a very low cooldown. It's 60 seconds, so you can justify using it to escape. Yeah, you didn't kill the Slark or anything, but not quite sure what you're going to buy next. Should be a Scotty or a BKB, though. It looks like you are going Scotty, which is good. Arrow does not hit.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Again, you're a little late on Dark Pact.
Dire's middle tower.
Now you're going bottom to look for kills. I went to use Shadow Blade there. They're all dead, so I don't think the extra movement speed is needed. You probably already ran really fast because of your ultimate passive. So
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
So everything's looking good here.
Has fallen.
You should basically tell your team that they have a ward over here. That's very clear. It's one of the major things you're not communicating to them properly enough.
Dire's
Say, wow, they can see me right now. Yeah, I like giving that to TA better. I think that's the right choice. I think you guys are maybe together a little too much at this point. I would have maybe gone mid to farm instead. I guess you guys do want to push, but you could have gone mid, pushed the wave like once or twice. 1 or 2 waves, and then gone for a kill. These wards are actually so detrimental to you, because you can't like regen. You can't disengage the fight and go regen. So I feel like going high ground here is just too dangerous. Alright, your Scotty's up, that's really good. I would like you to pounce on this guy. Your Dark Pact's a little bit late. It's like you guys have got the fight. I don't like that you used your ultimate, I think that was overkill. But it looks like things are going to be fine, basically. If we look at your opponent's positions, I would say this was more them playing awful than it was your team playing amazing. I think your team did that fight pretty good, but what basically happened is Lion got impatient and said, oh, there's a hero out of position. When you initiate like this, I don't think you should use Hex, you should probably stun. I would just do a stun to initiate. He should be waiting to counter initiate, basically, is what he should do. Great quap ult. I guess this fight was kind of just really won by zanking. That's what it seemed like. Yeah. That was just a bad initiation by them. Looks like you guys stayed a little bit long. Sniper's build was pretty bad, yeah. I wish he had some stats. This is kind of gross to see. At least like a Aquila or something would be good. So now you're going the new item, whatever it's called, Silver Edge. Is that it? I can never build it. Yeah, I don't know if I like a Silver Edge. It does limit your opponent's damage. That part's pretty good, but most times you're not going to be initiating on Quap before she casts her spells. I feel like the better build for you would be S and Y. Maybe it would not be bad. I kind of like the S and Y for the mobility that it would give you. The reality is that Silver Edge is not that amazing of an upgrade unless you're a strength hero. Or you're against a hero that has evasion, or a hero that has a really annoying passive, such as, like... That's a good example. You really should have been Dark Pacting there.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Again, no reason to use your ult here. You should have been using Dark Pact and leave and pounce, that is. Yeah, there's no reason for Lion to survive there. Again, you should have been using Dark Pact a little bit earlier. See, right there, you lost a kill because you used Dark Pact late. We talked about it all game. That's a perfect example. You wasted Shadow Dance to kill the Lion when you could have just used Dark Pact. And now you're coming, as soon as the Burst Strike came, you should have been casting it. Right here. Cast Dark Pact then. Damage comes out. You get a lot of the damage, but you don't get all of it. You could easily killed her if you had an extra 100. Always casting Dark Pact too late. You have to plan ahead your attacks. God, that did so much damage. CHP, idiot. You take 45% more damage, dumb.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen. Dire's top tower is under
Noob.
attack. Dire's top tower has fallen.
I like this sound.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
And game's pretty straightforward from this point. You know what else would be a good item, I feel? Maybe a, maybe something like an AC or a Basher would have been better. Shadow Blade alone is good. I would have gone Basher, I think. Again, another survival by Quap because you used Dark Pact very late.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
But yeah, I would have gone Basher, I think, because Basher gives you more time periods after your Dark Pact or before your Dark Pact where you don't have to use it, or, yeah, where you don't have to use it. If you stun somebody, they also can't blink, they also can't stun you, they will take more damage. I would have gone that over Silver Edge for sure. The Silver Edge upgrade is mediocre at best in most cases. It gives you an extra, like, 10 damage, it gives you 16 strength. That's it. 10 damage, 16 strength, gives you the main possibility, which you don't really need that much because you have a Scotty. And it also increases your Shadow Walk duration by a little bit, I believe. And maybe reduces your cooldown of it and maims them, which is... Or I'm sorry, not maims. Applies Break, which is potentially very good. But this game, it's not. It can stop Slardar from bashing. It probably stops Sniper from headshotting for a limited time. Like, it's not that good. You don't need it this game. Just because your Shadow Blade upgrades into something doesn't mean you build it. You should have built a Basher, an Abyssal Blade, maybe something like a Butterfly. You could justify BKB. You could justify Blink Dagger. You could justify so many more items other than Silver Edge. And how much did that thing cost you? Like 3,000 gold. The Sange is 2,000. The recipe is 600. So you spent 2,600 gold for 16 strength and 10 damage and the maim ability. More or less is what you spent to upgrade it. And yeah, when you break invis, you do an extra 75 physical. It's such an expensive upgrade. This item should only be purchased, in my opinion, against heroes that actually have annoying passives, like Bristleback, PA, things like that. Those are the heroes that you should get a Silver Edge. Huskar is another good example. Those are the kind of heroes you buy Silver Edge for. This is not the game. So I think your item build is overall good. It's just you got them in such bad orders. Like when you started the game, you didn't get enough regen, and then you bought a Ring of Protection and a Circlet and not the Circlet, the Slipper of Agility. No, shoot, man, my brain is not working. Wraithband. You bought a Wraithband before you bought boots. You can't do that. You have to get the early boots because it helps you get kills basically. So those are all pretty big mistakes, and it makes a big difference in your game. But the main problem with you was that in the early game you just didn't know where to go. Basically, when your lane was going bad, you didn't know what to do. And the reality is that you need to get your allies to gank, and you need to organize a proper gank, and you need to get a kill, or you need to go to another lane where you can get a kill. So if you have like a mid TA, for example, with a Blade of Attack and no boots, you basically say, okay, TA puts a trap down, I come from the back. It's a Quap, I guess the Quap won't die. But you could go to the safe lane maybe, grab a smoke with Sand King, you Sand King, and whoever's in the off lane. The two heroes will show up that are smoked, the off lane hero initiates on a sniper or a Witch Doctor or something, and then you blow him up and he dies instantly. Those are all things that you can do. But going to a lane where there's already heroes there, just to lane against them is not the right solution. If you're way behind, you gank. That is always the right solution. If you're super far behind, only gank if they are solo. If they're 5-manning, then all you can do is split push. Unfortunately, that's when games get really annoying. Okay, I think I've said enough. As a whole, you played like a decent enough game. Your farming patterns after the 10-minute mark are decent. They're fine. I think they're not bad. You farmed at a decent speed, but they could have been better, and they would have been better if you were better at last hitting in the early game. You would have gotten your boots faster, you would have been less scared in team fights, you would have gotten a couple kills, and with those kills you would have snowballed insanely fast. You snowballed okay, and you helped out your team, but it wasn't massive. Alright, I think that I've said enough. Thanks for watching today, guys. Tomorrow I'll try to bring you guys a replay commentary, most likely. I'll start playing some Ember games. Winter Wyvern, Invoker, Rubik, and Terrorblade. Again, if you guys want to vote on those, click the drop-down box below, and you can look at the poll on the right, choose the heroes you want to vote for. And other than that, you can also submit your replays like this one on the website. I'll give you the link for that. It's also on the website forums, and I think that's everything. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.